Scams have existed for centuries, weaving a web of lies that entrap millions of unsuspecting victims. From deceptive business practices to monumental financial frauds, these scams leave behind a trail of chaos, destruction, and betrayal. In this story, we are going to dive into some of the biggest and most infamous scams in history, uncover the secret theories behind them, and explore why people fall for these carefully orchestrated lies. The birth of a scam. Every scam begins with a simple idea: take advantage of someone's trust or desire for something they can't easily get. It could be a desire for wealth, a shortcut to success, or simply a chance to escape the mundane. The allure of something too good to be true is what makes scams so effective. But why do people fall for them? Why do otherwise intelligent individuals get caught in these traps? It's easy to blame the scammer for their manipulative tactics, but the true power of a scam often lies in the psychology of the victim. It taps into human nature, the desire for quick wealth, the tendency to trust others, and the willingness to believe that something extraordinary could happen to them. In some cases, victims may even ignore red flags because they don't want to face the reality that they've been deceived. Consider the famous Ponzi scheme, named after Charles Ponzi, a man who became infamous for promising investors extraordinarily high returns with little to no risk. His promise was simple: buy international postal reply coupons at a discounted rate in one country and redeem them at face value in another. The math seemed to work, but in reality, Ponzi wasn't using the money from the international coupons to generate returns. Instead, he was paying earlier investors with the money from new ones, creating the illusion of profitability. Ponzi's scam lasted for over a year before it collapsed, but during that time, thousands of people invested their savings into a mirage. The art of deception. One of the most interesting aspects of large-scale scams is the art of deception. Scammers are not just criminals, they are master manipulators, experts in convincing others that what they are offering is legitimate. The psychology of deception involves creating a sense of urgency, exploiting emotions, and presenting false but plausible stories. Take Bernie Madoff, one of the most notorious figures in modern financial fraud. Madoff ran the largest Ponzi scheme in history, defrauding investors of an estimated $65 billion. His success wasn't just based on a financial structure, it was based on trust. Madoff was well known in the financial industry and had a reputation as a legitimate businessman. He preyed on wealthy individuals and institutions, offering them high returns with little to no risk, something that, in hindsight, was clearly too good to be true. He used his personal charm, connections, and the appearance of legitimacy to lure in investors. His scam didn't collapse until the 2008 financial crisis, when many of his clients tried to cash out their investments all at once. Madoff's operation relied on the belief that the market was always growing and that people wanted to believe that they were in the know, part of an exclusive circle. The theory behind Madoff's scam was simple: people are often blinded by greed and the fear of missing out. FOMO. The dark side of technology. As technology has advanced, so have the scams. In the digital age, the reach of deception has expanded exponentially, and scammers have found new ways to exploit the internet, cryptocurrency, and online platforms. One of the most significant digital scams of the last decade is the cryptocurrency scam, where unregulated and often fraudulent coins are sold to investors who are looking for the next big thing. The theory behind cryptocurrency scams lies in the hype surrounding new technologies. Investors are enticed by the promise of a financial revolution, often ignoring the inherent risks and the lack of regulation. The most famous cryptocurrency scam might be OneCoin, a supposed cryptocurrency that turned out to be a complete fraud. Its founder, Ruja Ignatova, convinced thousands of people to invest in her digital currency, promising incredible returns. However, OneCoin didn't exist as a legitimate cryptocurrency at all. It was simply a pyramid scheme disguised as a revolutionary financial product. The scam spread rapidly across the globe, with Ignatova using flashy marketing tactics and a charismatic persona to win over investors. She capitalized on the uncertainty of the crypto market and the fear of missing out. By the time the scam was uncovered, billions of dollars had been lost, and Ignatova disappeared, leaving behind a network of victims who were left with nothing but empty promises. The power of belief. Scams aren't limited to just financial schemes. They can take many forms, including fraudulent organizations, fake products, and even false ideologies. One example of a scam that preyed on belief rather than money was the cult of Scientology. Founded by science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology is often described as a religion, but many consider it to be a cult. It is a prime example of how belief systems can be used to manipulate and control individuals. Scientology's success is based on the theory of using psychological manipulation to exploit human vulnerability. The church promises spiritual enlightenment and personal growth, but behind the scenes, it is known for its high costs, strict control over followers, and intense secrecy. The Church of Scientology's leadership practices fear, intimidation, and coercion to maintain its control. The scam behind Scientology isn't about taking someone's money directly, but about creating a system that entraps people, making them believe they need to be a part of it in order to achieve spiritual fulfillment.
One of the most famous cases related to Scientology involves actress Leah Remini, who was a member of the church for decades. Remini's public defection from the church and her subsequent expose revealed the dark side of Scientology, shedding light on the tactics it uses to recruit and maintain its followers. Scientology uses a combination of psychological techniques, emotional manipulation, and a sense of exclusivity to keep people invested both financially and emotionally. Theories behind the scams. While each scam has its unique characteristics, there are some common themes and theories that explain why people continue to fall for them, despite the obvious risks. Theory number 1 shows the illusion of control. Many scams, especially in the financial sector, exploit the idea that people believe they can control their fate. For instance, in Ponzi schemes, investors think they can outsmart the system and pull out their money before it collapses. Scammers feed this false sense of control, even as they manipulate people into staying invested for longer periods. Theory number 2 includes cognitive dissonance. This psychological theory explains how people experience discomfort when faced with information that contradicts their beliefs or actions. In the case of scammers, victims may ignore warning signs and red flags because accepting that they've been scammed would be too uncomfortable. They hold on to the belief that the scam is legitimate, even in the face of evidence to the contrary. Theory number 4, having the bandwagon effect. People are more likely to fall for scams when they see others getting involved. The idea of being part of an exclusive group can be powerful. When someone sees friends, family, or colleagues investing in a particular scheme, they are more likely to follow suit, believing that if so many others are participating, it must be legitimate. Theory number 5 shows the fear of missing out, FOMO. FOMO is perhaps the most dangerous factor that scammers exploit. It's the idea that if you don't act now, you might miss an opportunity that others will benefit from. Scammers know how to use urgency and scarcity to push their victims into making rash decisions. Theory number 6 could be the trust in authority. Scammers often present themselves as experts or authority figures, gaining the trust of their victims. They use credentials, titles, or a well-established reputation to convince people that they are trustworthy. This theory plays into the human tendency to trust those in positions of authority, especially when it comes to complex topics like finance or technology. The aftermath and the lessons learned. After a scam has been exposed, there are always questions. How could so many people have been deceived? Why did the victims not see the warning signs? And most importantly, what can we learn from these massive deceptions? The aftermath of a scam often leaves victims in financial ruin, emotional distress, and a deep sense of betrayal. For some, the damage is irreversible. However, these scams also serve as important lessons about the vulnerabilities of human nature. Scammers rely on exploiting these weaknesses, and the more we understand how they operate, the better we can protect ourselves. Education is the key to prevention. Understanding the psychology behind scams and recognizing the warning signs, such as promises of too high returns, urgent calls to action, and the use of emotional manipulation can help people avoid falling victim to future frauds. Building a healthy skepticism and learning to question everything, especially when something seems too good to be true, is one of the most effective ways to avoid being taken advantage of. The conclusion from this story is the ultimate lesson: don't fall for the illusion. As we've seen throughout the journey into the world of scams, one thing is crystal clear. Deception thrives on human vulnerabilities. Scammers don't just target your money, they target your emotions, your desires, and your trust. They prey on the hope of quick success, the fear of missing out, and the belief that this time, it's different. But the truth is, no matter how convincing the story or how alluring the promise, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. So, what's the ultimate lesson here?
Awareness is your first line of defense. Scammers are experts at manipulating emotions, but you can arm yourself with knowledge. When something seems to promise unrealistic rewards, take a step back and ask yourself, what's really behind this? Who stands to gain? Often, just pausing to think critically can save you from a lifetime of regret. Never let urgency cloud your judgment. Scammers thrive on pressure, on making you believe that if you don't act now, you'll miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. Don't fall for it. Real opportunities come with time to evaluate and assess. Don't let the fear of missing out rush you into bad decisions. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Scammers work by breaking down your defenses, but your gut feeling can often sense when things aren't right. Trust it, even if the situation looks convincing on the surface. It's better to question and doubt than to regret later. The scariest thing about scams is not just the financial loss, but the emotional toll they take. They can make you question your judgment and sometimes even lose trust in others. But here's the silver lining. The more you understand how scams work, the more power you have to protect yourself and others. In the end, the greatest defense against scams is not just skepticism, but education. Share what you've learned with those around you, whether it's family, friends, or even strangers, because together, we can break the cycle of deceit. The scammers of the world count on your ignorance and trust, but with knowledge, you can turn the tables. Remember, don't fall for the illusion. The greatest riches come not from getting something for nothing, but from making informed, thoughtful decisions. Stay aware, stay skeptical, and never stop questioning. By learning the lessons from history's biggest scams, we can all become smarter, safer, and more equipped to navigate the deceptive world we live in. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and never let the illusion of easy success cloud your judgment again. The key to preventing these deceptions lies in awareness and understanding. By recognizing the hidden theories behind scams and becoming more cautious in our interactions, we can begin to unmask these dark secrets and protect ourselves and others from falling victim to the world's biggest scams. Now the power is in your hands. Will you let yourself be deceived, or will you choose to see through the illusions and protect yourself from becoming the next victim? The choice is yours.